often will feel a little hard done by with the final score, but they lacked any cutting edge near the Tigers' line. Cass will be very happy with 40 points, knowing that they weren't truly hitting top form and made too many unforced errors. McShane controlled the game. Truman is so assured for his age, and Tautier adds some class at the back. On to KR next week.
And finally, Paul Chamberlain said, realistically, that is about as good as we will do against the better sides. Improved penalty count and handling errors with some good movement wide and decent yardage. However, the pack is simply too small in the middle. Batty and Ione have something about them, but Mason and Richards are showing nothing. Without that grunt up front going forwards and in defence, we look too soft. Cass fans were great. Yeah, I mean, bonus Sky game. I think this had passed me by last week that this was going to be on Sky, but a nice little watch. I think early on, when it went to 6-6, I thought, oh, we've got a game on here because London scored on their first attack, which was impressive. But then, just what Rob said, the power and the pace of Cass. I mean, I've picked out as star players. I thought Junior Moores and Liam Watts were immense, in the front row, and probably add into that Jesse Senni-Lefeo and Nathan Massey from the back row too. Really, the power those players showed for London was hard to stop. And in the case of Moores and Senni-Lefeo, there was no shortage of skill too. I mean, that offload by Jesse Senni-Lefeo for Truman's try, the first try, the second Cass try of the game, probably takes the nod for for the highlight reel moment for me. I mean, it was a little bit speculative, but the way he could get it out that far behind him with his arm in an awkward position and stuff was really impressive. So those are the players that stood out for me as star men. For London, I've got to drop an honourable mention for Kieran Dixon because he's so hammered, isn't he, for being a little bit more rocks than diamonds when it comes to taking kicks. But in this game, I've never seen him have such a good game plucking the ball out of the air. He was flawless, and he even managed to land and get a running start a few times as well. So really impressed with Kieran Dixon in that one. Other than the Senni-Lefeo offload, in terms of like highlight moments in the game, it's hard to pick out one really because the tries just came off the same sort of thing for me. It was just the relentless speed of Cass's forwards dominating the yardage game in this one that stood out more than any one particular moment. So they just were unstoppable, and London have got some decent things going on, but one thing that they haven't really got sorted is that goal line defence against these powerful outfits. And I think against Wakefield, the goal line defence was picked apart a little bit, but then they were able to get in the right end of the field more often in that game and do what they can do well when they're in that area of the field, but they didn't get enough chance in this game for that. So Cass absolutely deserved wins, and very well done to them for taking all their chances and just for steamrolling up the field. It was I started feeling a bit sorry for London because I don't think they deserved the spanking they got on the scoreboard, but there you go. Right, that's it for Super League this week, Sarah.
Really?
Go on, tell me what happened on Sunday.
So on Sunday we made the journey down the M62 to Wigan, where we saw history being made as
you won for the first time in forever.
In 240 days. But it's okay because you're only as good as your last result.
Well, then you're good at drawing games. That's what I heard.
This new introduction of this golden point rule saw Hull FC victorious, worthy victors over Wigan. 16-12 at half time, 22 all after 80 minutes, and 23-22 after 81 minutes.
Yeah, pretty quick, weren't it? Yeah.
In front of 10,971 people, and Ben Thaler was the man with the whistle.
Less than half. No, sorry, it was about half as what was at Wigan last week. That's upsetting for me as a Wigan fan. If you are a Wigan fan listening to this who isn't for any reason, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be like mean to you because people have reasons for not going to games. But if you're a Wigan fan who's not going to games for whatever reason it might be, I would love for you to get in touch with us, please. superleaguepod@gmail.com, and let me know why, and I can feed it back into the club. Definitely, I can do that because I'm on the fan engagement board there, the fan engagement panel there. So I can feed that back in. So please do get in touch and explain to me reasons why Wigan fans aren't going to Wigan games. And if you're not a Wigan fan, find someone at your own clubs to explain why you're not going to games if you're not going to games as well, because the clubs need to find ways to get more people through the turnstiles, and I think most of our clubs would echo that sentiments. Anyway, that's that. Tell us what happened, the stats first, before we do the inordinate amount of fan reviews for a match that was played on a Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. We've never had this many for one of those before, so I wonder why we've had so many stats.
I have no idea, probably because history was made.
Okay.
So a few key stats like metres made and tackle success rate were close, just like the final score. Ultimately, Hull FC were the more creative and attack-minded side, with 8 breaks to 5 and 22 offloads to 9. Wigan made more errors and conceded more penalties than their visitors, not helping their own cause. So for the mighty FC, Josh Griffin made 148 metres, Jamie Shaw 10 tackle busts and 124 metres, Mark Minicella 116 metres and 3 offloads, Danny Houghton 1 tackle assist, 52 tackles and 3 successful offloads. For Wigan, Zach Hardacre got 2 try assists, 8 tackle busts and 161 metres. Tom Davies 143 metres, Willie Isa 47 tackles, of which 14 were marker tackles, and Sam Powell 1 try assist and 44 tackles.
The first fan review we had in was from White Pie, so Wigan fan, as you might tell from that. Wigan got what they deserved, absolutely nothing. Took 65 minutes to start defending and too little too late. Hull deserved the points, Houghton was immense, and that kid Ellis looks a prospect. Better right side defence, but Marshall hung out to dry all afternoon on Wigan's left. Wonder if Wayne fancies some part-time defence coaching after the Six Nations.
Phil Nerdin says, Sneed! And thanks to Tom for putting FC for a win. Congrats on your yellow cap.
Spoiler alert, Phil. Spoiler alert. Tom Andrews said, picture the scene. Paige having heart palpitations over FC's Twitter updates, followed by her booking a hotel for Manchester over a medium spiced chicken butterfly. It was so dramatic. Blake crapped his pants. On the plus side, it's nice of FC to take 2 points off our top 5 rivals. Looking forward to Mark's rant. Will it be blame the ref again, winky face?
Fatboy Rob says, clowns beat cheats.
No one wins other than Cass with Fatboy Rob, do they, this year? David Lum says, wow, so proud of the effort today. Westerman is such a big plus when fit. Gives us that extra ball player in the pivots. We disbanded the 5 drives and a kick and played some real freestyle stuff. Wigan struggled with our offloads. Snide running at the line far more too. A great turnout from Hull.
Paige says, been poorly all week and that result was just what the doctor ordered. Always good to get a win against the Pies, thoroughly deserved. At least 2/3 of our household is happy tonight. The other third has had 2 defeats in one weekend. Rovers losing on Saturday and then getting beat by a 2-year-old at Burling on Sunday. Sometimes life can be shit, but supporting Rovers, I guess that's most of the time, isn't it, Tom?
Jen Kay said, very flat game from the Wigan team at the DW. Hull good for the win. Their support was great as ever. Plenty behind the goal saying Hardacre's conversion went over, but the clip on Sky is inconclusive. I think Wigan need Burgess and Manfredi back. We really have yet to click this season.
Tim G says, that's why we need Golden Point.
Paul Chamberlain said, enough of the pie eater baiting. What was the new Fijian winger like and how old is he? I can't find any old articles mentioning his age. He looks like a potential step up from the 10-stone weaklings Wigan are knocking out on the wing. I don't know how old he is either, to be honest. I was looking for his date of birth to throw into my spreadsheets, but yeah, I couldn't find out anything on that. But we talked about him a bit earlier, so we'll probably bypass him now in this part. There's plenty of other stuff for you to talk about, Sarah.
Yep, so always in our shadow says, Sneed, get in there.
And Joshua's granddad, Sarah's dad, says, I wasn't keen on Golden Point. That's a shocker. Your dad not keen on change. I wasn't keen on Golden Point, but I now think it's the best idea ever. I saw the return of Gaz Ellis, monster game by him, 2-try debut by Ratty. We kept poking our noses in front, but always felt we needed one more score, and so it looked as the druggie lined up his conversion and missed. A penalty in golden time took us to a position to allow 2 drives to the post, and the master was there to pop it over. A long time coming, but a win! Yes, and the curse is lifted, and the villagers rejoiced, and boy did you, to be fair. So go on, rejoice some further. Tell us what you thought of the game. Who stood out for you in the black and white shirt?
Well,
all 17 probably.
Yeah, I totally agree with David Lum's review. You know, Westerman, he played for about 20 minutes in the Cass game and looked good, gave us more options, and him playing for much of the match yesterday, you know, he really does give us so many more options. And yeah, we decided to play a different type of game. We were offloading the ball. I mean, some of it looked a bit desperate, but it worked well.
It did.
Connor and Sneed were just doing what, you know, they were just controlling the game. I think that's doing them a disservice saying they were controlling the game. Controlling the game is like what Brough did on Thursday. They were creating as well, though. Yeah. They were able to do whatever they wanted. Yeah. I mean, players Pia, Manu, and Minichella have come in for a lot of stick recently over being doing
shit.
Enough.
Minichella's been crap, hasn't he? But he was not crap at all. Like that is rolling back 2 years ago form for on Sunday. Yeah, you're right.
You know, and Mickey Peer again actually made some yards, which he hasn't done. I mean, even in the reserves last week, he looked as if that was probably a step up for him. And I don't know what it is. Danny Houghton, he seemed a bit flat recently, and I don't know whether having Jazz Litton playing on the bench has sort of suddenly kicked him into performing a bit better.
I don't know. He loves a good moan, though, doesn't he?
Because he was
Simmin for whining at the ref. I'm sick of him. This is just me being bitter now. This is the rant people want. Go on. He played well. He did play well.
You know, he actually was scooting from dummy half, which we've not seen him do much of recently. And then Jordan Lane, when he came on, you know, we were a bit concerned. We said, you know, we've got Jordan Lane on the bench, and Wigan have got, you know, Jared Samet, but you know, Lane made a couple of nice breaks.
Samet was shit.
Yeah, and I must say, Talima Tautai came on, and I turned to Dad and I said, I used to really like it when he came on against us because he was rubbish, but now he's actually got quite good. And with that, he did he drop the ball first and then get sin binned?
So what did he do first? I think
he maybe dropped the ball and then he got sin binned, and then he dropped the ball a few more times.
One of the few offloads we did try was a bit of a late in the tackle one, and it dropped just below him, so it was tough for him to take it, but he should have let it fucking bounce before picking it up then, and that was the first thing he did. And maybe I'm angrier about him than I would have been at the time if he didn't then go in and, you know, jump in to try and knock someone's head off totally reasonably. So fair yellow card for that. Probably we were maybe lucky-ish that Gabe Hamlin didn't get a yellow card, although Gareth Ellis seemed to try to burrow into the floor when he was getting tackled. So, you know, ref saw it a bit both ways there, I suppose, on that one. But we were a little bit lucky that Gabe Hamlin didn't get a yellow card. So when Tautai got his for another could or couldn't kind of go situation, I thought it was totally deserved. So yeah, and then he came back on and just fucking flapped his arm out wildly and dropped the ball. So he didn't. From Wigan's point of view, from my point of view as a Wigan fan, we brought in 3 players into this game who hadn't played so far this year. Talima Tautai, Liam Byrne and Jared Samet. Now, Liam Byrne grabbed a debut try, so as well as Ratty on your side, we had a debut try scorer, and you can't knock Liam Byrne for too much of that. And he's a young kid. You know, he wasn't expected to play long in the game, and he did okay. I thought he did okay. But the other 2 should have been trying to stake their claims in the side at this stage when there's going to be an opportunity for some rotation. The players ahead of them, like O'Loughlin and Luluai, aren't young players, so they're going to get an opportunity with that. And both of them really did not deliver. Samet did put Flower through for a try, so he did well there, but his kicking game was supposed to be what was going to come through, and it was crap.